Okay. And with that, I'll call this meeting of the Cromwell Board of Education to order at 7 p.m. Laura, would you please take roll call?
Here.
Mrs. Cloutier.
Here.
Ms. Franklin.
Here.
Ms. Paduti.
Here.
Mr. Heitzman.
Here.
Mrs. Kelleher.
Here.
Mrs. Russ.
She'll be absent.
Mr. Schuman.
Here.
Mr. Zabrowski.
Here.
Mrs. Ardista.
Here.
Ms. Berry.
Here.
Mr. Bizzano.
Here.
Mrs. Biggington. Here. Mr. Butwell.
Here.
Mrs. Colciolo.
Here.
Mrs. Tomorrow. Mrs. Latuno. Mr. Cookle.
Walking through the door.
Dr. McLean. Here. Dr. Macri.
Here.
Mrs. Maher. Here. Ms. Middlebrooks. Here. Mrs. O'Leary. Here. Mrs. Shepherd. Mr. Shettle. Ms. Talmott. Here. Mrs. Weiskel. Here. Julia Bay Maradova. Here. Summer Tatro. Here. Jack Mandigo. Here. Madison Stryker.
I don't believe I have anyone from the town here, but they may be joining us, so I'll let you know if I see them. Okay, thank you. We'll move on to our approval of the agenda and any additions, deletions. And I do have 2 items. I'd like to move item B under new business, which is Teacher Leadership Academy certification, certificate recipients. And we'll move that to celebrating our students just after Mr. Beltwell comes up for that. And also a potential action to approve the superintendent's contract will be added to the executive session portion of this evening, if we're in agreement on that. Is there a motion to approve it with those changes? Matt, second by Alicia. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries, and the agenda as amended is approved. Before I read the rules for public comment, is there anyone here that would like to make a public comment? Okay, hearing none. We'll move right on to celebrating our faculty and staff at Woodside. Mr. Butwell, please come on up.
Hi, everyone. Good evening. Since May is Mental Health Awareness Month, tonight I wanted to recognize 2 very important and wonderful people who make a huge difference at Woodside. So I'm going to invite Melissa Esquihart and Jane Gibson to come on up here and just stand near me. That's all you have to do. No speech is necessary. So if you don't know Miss Gibson, she's our school social worker, and Melissa Esquihart is our school psychologist. And what makes them so special? It's the impact that they have on the students that they work with every single day. I wanted to say a few words about each, and I'll start with Melissa. Melissa has a variety of responsibilities that are so important to our students. She has regular counseling sessions and social groups with students to help provide them with the strategies and skills they need to be successful at school and in the everyday world. In addition, she's a valued member of our regular PPT meetings with families of students who receive special education services to talk about student progress, discuss testing results, review growth, and set goals. I am constantly impressed with Melissa in meetings with families because she has a wonderful blend of patience, experience, and directness to explain the special education and counseling process to help families feel at ease with testing results, programming questions, and academic needs. In addition, I have had the pleasure of having Melissa's expertise during many serious, unusual, and occasionally funny situations that we help our students with each day. Melissa always is a team player, is never too busy to help, and can be counted on to do her part to help our students and find out what they need for success. Jane, as our school social worker, is that key person that so many students connect to. Like Melissa, Jane's days are busy and active. Her day is a revolving schedule of counseling times, impromptu meetings to help students and families, 504 meetings, and providing assistance to any and all that need it. Jane's friendly personality and smile draw students to her as she helps them navigate the obstacles that school and the world beyond can bring. Her time with students can provide them with strategies for dealing with stress, anger, sadness, impulsive behavior, and many other emotions. She gets to know the students that she works with well and can find ways to connect with them and motivate them to want to find success. The things that happen daily in an elementary school cannot always be predicted. However, Jane can always be counted on to help a student, support a classroom, and work with a teacher or administrator to address a problem or a need. So in closing, I would just like to say that these two amazing professionals work so hard to provide support to our students and families. Jane and Melissa, thank you very much for all that you do for our students. You are amazing, and we appreciate your talents and the tremendous effort that you put into your work every day.
Let's give them a round of applause. Thank you both so much for being here. We're so appreciative to have you in our district. I know mental health is huge, and being in a school with 500 students and there's just the two of you, I'm sure it's just all day long, constant.
Busy.
So very busy and very interesting, as you mentioned. So any comments from the board? Or Dr. Macri, did you have anything you wanted to add?
No, obviously, we all know we are academia. We're here for academia, but we know that if our kids are not ready to learn and they don't feel heard and respected and loved and honored, it's never going to happen. And every school, but particularly, it has been a little bit of a struggle at WIS this year. And Mrs. Askew Hart and Miss Gibson have done so much, and it's incredibly exhausting because when you are working with students on their mental health all day long, you do this job for a reason, because you're an empath. So you take it all in and on yourself. And I know both of you are like that. So I just thank you for the relationships that you build with our students all the time, and for being so patient, because it could be challenging. And I definitely know that. So thank you both. And I think you're amazing, and I know our kids love you.
All right, another round of applause. Well deserved. Thank you. We'll move on to celebrating our students. If you're
Okay.
ready.
So tonight, as we brought up celebrating our students, we don't often have as many awards or things that the middle school and high school students have. So we thought it would be really nice to celebrate some of our fifth graders who are getting ready to go to the middle school. And for those of you who don't know, Woodside, our motto is Woodside Pride, Respect, Responsibility, and Kindness. And so I asked each of the fifth grade classrooms and the multi-age classrooms to select a fifth grade student who is sort of the epitome of those three qualities. And I'm going to speak a little bit about each of them tonight. So I'm just going to have those students come up and join us. Tonight we have Lucille Tyne, Naya Arnone, Ryan Latoile, Connor Churchill, Cassidy Nelson, Trita Lucas, and Samantha Callahan. If those students could come right up here next to me, I would love to honor you in front of the board and all your hard work. Are you ready for me to say great things about you? Okay. So these words are from your teachers, and they couldn't all be here tonight. We do have Mrs. Reynolds here tonight, so she's going to be speaking about her student when the time comes. So first we're going to talk about Lucille. Lucille is in Miss Arcuri's class. Miss Arcuri notes that Lucille has been a model student this year. She is so friendly and helpful. She always goes above and beyond to help me or a friend in need. She will tutor someone, help another student organize their desk, and complete all her work. She is kind, respectful, and very responsible. She's our resident Miss Fix-It. If there's something not working or broken, she will work on the problem until she comes up with a solution. She is our MacGyver. Let's give Lucille a round of applause. Next is Naya Arnone from Mrs. Meyer's class. Naya is a model student. She comes to school each day eager to learn. In January, Mrs. Meyer's students began presenting student awards to the classmates for doing the right things in school. Naya has already been recognized for following directions quickly, staying on task, great listening, clean desk, always kind, and always respectful to peers and adults. You can only win one award at a time, so this is a big accomplishment. As you can see, Naya's peers also see Woodside Pride, Respect, Responsibility, and Kindness in her just as I do. She is a wonderful artist and loves to share her artistic side with the classroom. We have a beautiful drawing of a horse drawn by Naya hanging in the back of our room. Anyone who knows Naya also knows of her love for horses and understands why they're so often her drawing of choice. However, given any object, Naya will turn it into a work of art. With her talent for writing and art, I wonder if we have a future writer and illustrator or artist here in Cromwell. The future is hers. I'm proud to have Naya recognized at the Board of Ed, and she, along with many other students, earned it. Congratulations. Next is Ryan from Mrs. Whittle's class. Ryan is being recognized by Mrs. Whittle because of her outstanding attitude toward learning. She shows up every day ready and eager to learn. No matter what distractions are thrown her way, she finds a way to persevere through and stay focused. For example, a bee finding their way into the classroom, Ryan kept her head down and kept reading her book during book club. The smile on her face is contagious. She helps her classmates and teachers alike when asked and unprompted. She is on a great path towards success. Keep up the amazing work. Ryan. Next is Connor. He's from Mrs. Patton's class. Connor actually just arrived at WIS in January of 2024, but Mrs. Patton notes that he quickly embraced our Woodside Pride ideals. He encourages others to be kind and respectful. He focuses on his work, finishes assignments, and helps others to understand concepts, especially in math. Connor consistently helps out around the classroom and volunteers for tasks. If he sees someone is upset, he tries to cheer them up. If he sees someone is stressed, he either gives them space or tries to lighten the mood. Connor often speaks about reflecting on his own choices so that he can continue to learn both socially and academically. Most importantly, Connor stays true to his beliefs on how kindness and respect should be given to others and models those beliefs no matter what is happening around him. Connor. Next is Cassidy Nelson from Miss Tessino's class. Cassidy has come to school every single day ready to learn and do her best. Her desire to learn and grow in every way is visible to everyone who knows her. She is someone who will always be there to lend a hand to others or me without hesitation. She is a role model in the classroom and embodies Woodside Pride, showing respect, responsibility, and kindness in all that she does. I'm so lucky to have had her in my class this year. Cassidy. From Mrs. Presley's multi-age, Trita Lucas. Trita radiates kindness, compassion, and inclusion. She goes out of her way to make people feel special, whether it be to say happy birthday to someone, ask them about their day, or make sure they join the tag game if they are nearby. She isn't afraid to try something different than others, which in turn makes others want to try it as well. She is a natural-born leader, and she's going to do great things. The world would be a better place with more people like Trita Lucas in it. And finally, Samantha Callahan. I'm going to have Mrs. Reynolds come up and share her thoughts.
Hi. I have had the extreme honor of being able to teach Sam Callahan for the past 2 years. Sam is an inquisitive learner, a creative thinker, innovative problem solver, and all-around incredible human. Sam exemplifies what it means to be a role model. Sam has an indelible talent for lifting others up and helping them strive to be the best versions of themselves. I know our world is a brighter place because Sam is helping to shape it.
And I'm sure you heard all the same things that I did, which is comes to school ready to learn, doing their best, helping others, being kind, being respectful, all those wonderful things. And these students embody those things. And Mrs. Cochiola, I hope you're ready to receive these students because you've got a wonderful crew coming up.
Spread them out, one in each class.
Yeah.
We need you.
So before I leave, I'm just going to present our students with these Woodside Pride bumper stickers to commemorate the moment. But thank you for listening, and we're really proud of all of you. Great job.
So congratulations to all of you. I'm sure your parents are so proud. Your teachers are so proud. Everyone had such nice things to say about you, and you're going to be great role models at the middle school. Good luck. Can we get that picture on our website, you think?
Of course we can. I was kidding. Of course we can, and we will. Teasing you. Lauren will send it to me. Sure, she took a lot.
Thank you all for being here tonight. All right, we will now move on to reports of liaisons from the Town Council, Board of Finance. Yes. Oh, thank you, yes. Thank you so much. We do need to go to item B under new business, which is the Teacher Leadership Academy Certificate recipients. And who will be presenting that? Dr. McLean, you coming up? Okay.
Good evening, everyone. It's my absolute pleasure tonight to recognize this year's Teacher Leadership Academy with the support and partnership of Dr. Jeremy Vizone, who I think you guys know. We each year identify a group of teacher leaders throughout the district and provide time and space for them to not only learn some things about teacher leadership, but to also work on a project that they think will help their school community. And so we know that teacher leaders are in a really unique position to be able to identify what the needs are of their colleagues and what their school communities need. And so they are able to identify something that they can work on. And then we help and guide them and support them in any way that we possibly can. So this year we had some excellent projects. We were able to meet this year. Last year we didn't get to meet as often as we would have liked, but this year we really did, and there was a lot of great work that came out of it. So I want to recognize them for their work. I'm going to have Dr. Vizone read their projects, and then I'm going to present them with some certificate just to show them some appreciation for all of the work that they've put in throughout the school year.
Just moving the podium up a little bit so I can see the projects on the slide. Okay, so first of all, I want to introduce myself to those of you in the room who don't know me. As Dr. McLean said, I'm Jeremy Vizone. I'm a faculty member at CCSU, where I work in ed leadership, preparing future leaders for public schools. Carrie did a great job explaining what the Teacher Leadership Academy is, so I don't need to go through that. But suffice it to say, we're really proud of the teachers' efforts. I want to emphasize the fact that this is voluntary. This is not something that they have to do. It's not something that they get paid extra to do. They come and they work and they do their projects because they want to. And we're really, really proud of them. So I'm just going to read their names so they can come up and be recognized. So first of all, Mr. Kiss from the middle school is working on a team building project in health and wellness. Mr. Kiss. He was hiding in the corner. Mr. Calhoun, also from the middle school, is working on graphic organizers. I'll abbreviate it. Leah Madison from the high school is working on MTSS, supporting students with needs. Mark Bozeman from the middle school is working on student writing.
Yeah, and unfortunately, Mark was not able to be here tonight.
Mark's not here. All right. We'll give him a round of applause anyway. Next up, Kelly Ladicchio is working on play-based learning at ECS. From the middle school again, Josh Chabowski and Jane Sarnowski are doing a project about the Holocaust. It's going on right now, actually. And from WIS, we have Brianna Fry and Julie Calican, who are working to support their new colleagues. All right, we're really proud of our Teacher Leadership Academy. About a round of applause for them again.
Congratulations on behalf of the board to all the teacher leaders and for all your volunteerism and for all of your knowledge that you share with each other. Do you want to make some comments?
Yes, I could. I just want
Sure.
to say thank you so much to Dr. McLean and Dr. Vizone for giving us this opportunity and providing us with such a wonderful resources when it comes for teacher leadership. I also wanted to note that, like Dr. McLean had said earlier, we weren't able to meet as much last year, and this year we restructured our professional development and been able to use that committee time to really use our Teacher Leadership Academy. So I'm not sure who made that decision, but whoever did, thank you so much. And I think it's been such a wonderful addition this year to have the committee time to be able to do wonderful projects such as these. So thank you for that.
Great. Thanks for that feedback. And thank you, Dr. Vizone, for your continued partnership with us. Anything you want to add?
It's just, as I always say, you don't need to have leader in your title to be a leader, and these are excellent teacher leaders, and their projects have been really helpful for all of us. So thank you to all of you, and to Dr. Vizone, and to Dr. McLean. I know they work really hard together, and I love being partners with Central. They really are very helpful to us. So hopefully we'll be able to grow our own teachers in our district eventually when we start our education program here at the high school. Hopefully next year, right, in September. That's it.
All right. Any other comments from board members? Okay. Then we'll move on to reports of liaisons. Do we have anyone from town council here? No? Okay. Board of Finance, I don't believe we do. Middle School Building Committee. This was late in our packets. It just printed this evening, so I'm just going to read it because I'm not sure everyone had a chance to, but it will be in the minutes. Construction continues on the new middle school. Fair weather and supplemental dewatering plans have enabled crews to progress. Footings are underway and getting ready for foundation work in the coming weeks, and the construction schedule remains on track. The committee has submitted its request for administrative approval from Planning and Zoning for an updated fence option surrounding the bioretention basin and is also awaiting that decision. On April 23rd, we received notice that solar panels will be reimbursable as part of the school building project. So the building committee will begin to move forward with the planning for that additional phase. And their upcoming meetings are May 22nd is the next one. That's from Rosanna Glynn, our chairwoman. All right, other than that, we'll move on to student reports of our student representatives. Want to start with the high school this time?
The Student Council hosted a breakfast and lunch for Teacher Appreciation Week on May 10th. It was a success. On May 22nd, there will be a Student of the Month breakfast and an honors breakfast on the 23rd. Also on the 23rd, the Senior Awards Night will commence in the auditorium. The class of 2027 is hosting a movie night on May 17th at 7 p.m. And National Honor Society hosted a tag sale on May 4th to support Project Grad, and it was very successful.
Baseball played their Cancer Night game at Palmer Field against Xavier last Saturday, and yesterday against Waterford, ending in an unfortunate losses, and play again Friday against Sheehan. Softball had a game tonight against Hale Ray, which resulted in I did not get the results on that, sorry.
8-5, sadly, but they played hard.
And play next Saturday against East Haven. Girls lacrosse is playing right now in Old Saybrook and play again against Morgan on Saturday. Boys lacrosse played yesterday against Wilbur Cross and play next tomorrow against Haddam Killingworth. Girls tennis played today home against Coggins. Boys tennis played today against East Grammy and Canton boys and play tomorrow against Rocky Hill. Golf has a home match today against East Hampton, and their next match is Thursday the 16th against Old Saybrook. And finally, boys and girls track and field had a meet today in Haddam Killingworth against HK and Old Saybrook and have their last home meet tomorrow.
Great, thank you. Any questions from our board members? All right, well, thank you. And I think we'll see you again, possibly, Julia, but enjoy your festivities for the end of your senior year. It's all a lot of exciting things coming up. And from here, we'll go to the middle school. Madison or Jack, whoever wants to start.
Is this on? Sorry. There you go. Okay. Is the mic working now? All right, sorry.
Loud and clear.
Students have SBAC testing in math and ELA, and have finished the science-based NGSS as well. Community Event Educational Leadership Club acted as teaching assistants Students solved problems such as building a 3-story building that could survive an earthquake. iReady testing took place in math classrooms the week of May 6 and will continue in ELA classrooms this week. This Monday, TPC River Highlands hosted this free trip organized by Julie Shepard. Students learned about entomology, water conservation, and golf. The professional acting company based in Waterbury, Connecticut, visited CMS to conduct an interactive activity workshop with 8th grade students. The Massachusetts-based acting company came to perform a Midsummer Night's Dream in its entirety for the 8th grade class. Holocaust survivor and author Marion Blumenthal Lazan joined 6th and 8th grade students via Zoom to share her experiences and her messages of remembrance and tolerance. Students had a great time at the Bronx Zoo. They enjoyed seeing and learning about their favorite animal and those who had never heard of and those that have never heard of before. 8th grade students are looking forward to their field trip in High Meadow and Granby, Connecticut, their 8th grade dance, and their promotion ceremony in June. CMS students and staff would like to thank the PTO for hosting the 80s and 90s spring dance on April 26th. The kids had a blast. The CMS students and teachers would like to express a heartfelt thank you to the PTO for their support in bringing these valuable experiences to our learning and community this spring.
The CMS Step Challenge. Mr. Kiss, Mr. Bozeman, and Autumn Brown lead the way. 7th grade students recently volunteered at the Hearts for Hinka event at Hinka's Cupboard Food Pantry in Middletown. The baseball team got off to a good start with victory over East Hampton. The team has lost 4 close games since then. The team is led by Cody Adville and Luke Saponaire on the mound, and Tyler Roberts and Zach Ryla on the plate. The team has 5 games remaining, 1 this week and 4 next week. The softball team is 3-2 halfway through the season. We finish up with 4 games next week, looking to finish with a winning record. Track and field. The CMS girls track is off to a great start with 3 wins and 1 loss. Anaya Bennett's record run in the 100-meter has been the team's highlight so far this season. The boys track team has struggled against tough competition, but the kids' continue to improve daily. The CMS Jazz Band is performing in their first annual Cromwell Jazz Festival. Students witnessed the progression of programs from high school all the way to professionals. It was a positive and encouraging experience for students and families to see future possibilities. There will be a CMS band concert on May 15th to wrap up the school year. Band continues to prepare for the Memorial Day Parade under the direction of Miss Sales. The select choir will have a concert on the 26th of May. On May 6th, students from 6th, 7th, and 8th grade participated in the CMS Art Show from 5 to 6 p.m. The yearbooks are for sale, and the yearbook has been completed and are being printed. The CMS Shoe Crew under Mr. Daglieri is successfully collecting used shoes to be recycled.
All right, thank you both. Any questions? All right, feel free if you'd like to leave whenever you'd like to, but thank you all for being here tonight. And from here, we'll move on to town collaboration updates. We did talk at facilities tonight about a tri-board facilities meeting that's scheduled hopefully in the near future, but we don't have a firm date on that yet. Did you have anything else to add to that?
No, I just think we've been talking about the grounds and infrastructure team that we have, and Mr. Bazzano, Claudio Bazzano, is meeting with, has been meeting and continuously meeting with Mr. Lou Spina to just try to see how we can better collaborate so that we can get the most out of our tax dollars and not repeat efforts or redouble efforts.
All right, thank you. And superintendent's updates and responses to Board of Ed comments and any action items from our prior meeting.
So today we had the opportunity to attend, a lot of us, a conference called Igniting Change, and we did have 2 of our students that did speak on behalf, and a lot of it is talking about change involving acceptance of everyone and educational equity. So our students that were struggling, and many are, with feeling that Cromwell is not a place where they feel valued and heard and respected because of their race, had the opportunity to present in front of 200 people today, and they told their story. And it was a group of educators all around the state of Connecticut. They did an excellent job, and they also, the Unity Club, attended as well, and they got to participate in the breakout sessions. And I wasn't in the breakout session that they were in. I was in a different one, but my friend who was in the breakout session, who was running one of them, said they did an excellent job, and they made us very proud in that breakout session. So for as difficult as it is for all of us to hear and to have the courageous conversations about race, so much positivity is coming out of this, and it's really making our students feel valued, and that's the most important thing. So today was a great day. It was hard as a superintendent to hear some stuff, but it's the truth, and so, you know, we got to do what we have to do for our kids, and it's a reality. Also, just very quickly, oh, yes, we had a small fire at CMS yesterday. Believe it or not, one of the Chromebooks was dropped, and it quickly ignited with smoke all of our devices. I'm learning a lot about these things. If you need to know more, ask Steve. Our lithium ion, which can very quickly ignite, and we saw that happen. Very quickly, the hallway, the sixth grade hallway filled with smoke. Miss Coachella, and Miss Middlebrooks and the entire school community reacted very quickly. We had to move our students to WIS. What I'm most proud of is that we all worked really together. Our kids had a field trip that Mrs. Shepard planned for them. We rerouted the buses. The kids got to go on the field trip. WIS got to go on their field trip. The buses were coming in at WIS while the students from CMS were walking over. So it was a complete, everything happening at once, which is really not what we practice. But I'm very proud of everyone. We had Deep come in, and fire, police, they were excellent with us, with helping us with traffic and finding out. We actually had to use the fire extinguisher, and I'm sure you saw it on the news because it must have been a really boring day. But it was isolated, and we were able to get the kids back to school by 10 a.m., and they were excellent. They were just excellent while they were at WIS. They were excellent on the walk back, and they got right back to work from the minute they walked in. So a huge thank you to the administration. It's not easy when something like that happens, and it's really scary. I'm very happy that Mrs. Middlebrooks used her science skills and decided not to touch the Chromebook when it was on fire. And I love the compassion of the students' Chromebook that broke or that fell. When I went in to talk to the student, his classmates said, "He's not in trouble, is he? He didn't mean to do it." I said, "No, I'm here to see if he's okay." And he is okay. So just be careful. Have the students use, all of us, let this be a lesson, use the right chargers with your devices. Don't charge your devices on your bed, carpets, or anything like that, a top. And for those of you who are scared something's going to happen like me all day long, who sleep with your phone, that's probably not a good idea. I will now stop doing that and put it on my bedside. But it has happened before. It's rare, but it does happen. It was just the perfect storm. So that ended up working out, thank goodness, and everyone was safe and fine. And thank you to all the families for listening and not coming to either school and trusting your children with our care. Also, I'd like to talk about, I worked with Senator Lesser. He called me because it's the end of the legislative season, and there's a lot of ARPA funds left. So he said, if you can have anything you want for anything you want. I'm like, well, how much can I have? And he said, well, tell me what you're thinking. And I said, social emotional learning supports. We need as much as we can get. And I'm thinking about focusing on the middle school, perhaps WIS and the middle school. We haven't completely thought this out. It was literally a last minute thing. I said between $100,000 and $200,000. And it's a one-time grant. And he called to let me know that it went through legislation and it passed, and so we have $150,000 for next year to support us in social emotional supports for our students, which will probably be using some consultants to help train our staff, because that money will go away after 1 year. That was great. We also received, like as promised, our students have not been able to visit other Unity clubs that are really successful in the state. So Senator Lesser also was able to get us $2,000 for busing so that our students can visit other schools and participate and learn about how other Unity clubs are successful and to be able to use their voices in a very positive way. And so we're thankful for that as well. I spoke with Representative Carpino, and I think this is still out there. It hasn't happened for sure yet, but she is working to secure about $300,000 in state funds through bonding, so that we can build bathrooms at our high schools instead of using the porta potties. She's very dedicated to working with people with disabilities, and she's tired of seeing the elderly grandparents come out and people with disabilities having to use porta potties. So very grateful for that, and let's keep our fingers crossed on that one. And then I would be remiss if I don't remind everyone that's listening and lives in Cromwell, and the voting is right here. Our voting for the Board of Education 5.8% budget increase only passed by 12 votes. So we need to get people out and voting. And a lot of people didn't even realize that it was voting day. So we have to remember to do better next year, all of us. And we are so excited about our Teachers of the Year. At ECS, we have Mrs. Matiskevich. At WIS, our Teacher of the Year is Miss Gerton. At CMS, Miss Valerio. And at CHS, Mrs. Randazzo. And being on those interviews and watching them teach, it's so joyful to watch teachers at their craft. Every single one of them was excellent. Mrs. Cantwell joined the committee. It's just always so hard. But our District Teacher of the Year is Mrs. Christina Matiskevich from ECS. And teaching, if you know her, teaching is her life. Teaching and Miss Matiskevich are synonymous. So congratulations to her and to all of our Teachers of the Year. They were all wonderful. And to me, we're blessed to have really good staff and people who care about our kids. And that's it.
Thank you. Any questions to follow any of that up? Sounds like it was a busy week and all went well. Thanks to everyone involved with that little emergency at the middle school. Luckily, the weather cooperated. I think the kids enjoyed it. Probably helped with behavior a little bit.
They were great.
Yeah. Thanks for coordinating the Igniting Change, too. I think that's great that the students were able to go to that.
Oh, don't worry. I already got the funny joke from Miss Hicks this morning. She said, have fun at your igniting change. Hopefully there's no fire, no pun intended. Well, Miss O'Leary decided that she was going to charge her laptop on the rug in the back of the room. I said, no, we're going to blow up the convention center. All went well with that too, though. We're all alive.
All right, so we'll move on to presentations and reports of administration. And we'll go to item A, the 2023-2024 budget update, reference A in your packets. And Mr. Shettle, if you'd like to come on up.
Good evening. As you can, if you looked at last month's and compared it to this month's, we see very little change, which is not necessarily a bad thing, because we're getting closer to a zero. Hopefully by the end of the year that will happen. One of the questions that was asked last month was regarding food service charges. Those have been encumbered, are included in the projections that you have before you. One of the other things that we're looking at very closely that might help us, I have to say might because we're still looking at the usage, is electrical and gas usage for the year. So we might be able to reduce those projections to help us come in hopefully at a zero balance for the end of the year. I'm confident that we'll get there. I'm confident that we won't have a deficit by the end of the year. And again, I always say that with a little bit of grain of salt because you never know what things might transpire between now at the end of the year. But if we look at things that are happening now, I'm confident that we are going to be a zero. So that's a good thing.
That's pretty amazing considering where we were just a couple of months ago. So it's good news. Does anyone have any questions? Matt.
So the debts that were owed on food service, have those come down significantly?
I wouldn't say they've come down significantly. They're probably about the same. They might have come down a little bit, but again, hopefully by the end of the year, some parents will start paying. Emails are sent out on a weekly basis to parents to tell them what their students have charged up to this point in time, and even sometimes phone calls are made for the students that have larger balances in the food service account. So we try, we really do try to collect those balances, but it's difficult. It's a difficult process to do that with the new regulations for the last 4 or 5 years with the child nutrition in the state of Connecticut.
But last month, I think you had said you weren't sure it could be reflected in this, and now it is reflected, right?
Yes,
okay.
it is. Yep.
Any other questions? Lori.
So what do we say is going to happen at the end of the school year, and say we're $14,000 down? When do you reconcile that? How do you do that? Like, when
It just we have to. So, the cafeteria is self-sustainable, but we can't. Even though there's money in that cafeteria fund, we're not allowed to use it ever. We did ask, and when I say we, everyone's in this situation in the state of Connecticut because we were giving free lunch, so people got used to it, free meals, to see if we can actually take that $14,500 out of that fund. So far, the answer has been no. So it's encumbered in our balance, which is we're at this $63,000 negative balance, and we have to pay the cafeteria funds back.
My recommendation would be that if there's any balances that you keep them open maybe for a month or so into July or August to again remind parents that they do have a balance before the start of the new school year, and so that encumbrance would stay there and be reflected in any balance at the end of the year for the overall budget.
So that just makes me think of another question. So when you go from year to year, say at the end of the school year, a student has like $100, it carries over next year, that $100 still in there.
No,
so
wipe clean.
No, you're wiped
It's
clean.
wiped clean.
Oh, it's wiped clean?
Yes, it is. Yeah, because we're paying off the debt. I say we.
No, I
the
mean
Board
if
of
they
Education.
had $100 left, surplus.
Oh, it's a surplus for them?
Oh no,
Yeah.
no, they could keep that.
Yeah,
Right,
they
so
can keep
say-
that.
It's on their
so-
card. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
it stays on your card. So
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
like,
yeah.
wait a minute.
No,
what?
we don't
Okay.
take.
You owe me money.
I thought you meant students with a deficit. No, we have to wipe those
So I'm
clean.
just thinking, if the surplus carries over,
Yes,
the surplus can carry over, but the deficit can't.
that's
No.
correct.
So they're going to start with a clean slate next
That's
year.
correct. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
In the My Payments Plus, but you could still continue to let them know that it's owed, right?
Yes, there's many things that we can do, and we will continue to do. And the principals have even tried calling, and we had this discussion last meeting. We're at $14,500. I asked all of you to help. I'm sure you're helping as much as you possibly can, but people just need to be able to pay their debt. And these are not students that receive obviously free and reduced lunch, or even remotely near it. These are people that, according to our records, can afford it and are choosing not to pay the bill. And we obviously don't punish our students for the mistakes of adults. We feed our kids. So I don't have any regrets, but it does say it impacts our district. Our kids go without something else because we have to pay off this debt. So we will continue to try until the end of the year, and I'm sure into the summer as well.
All right, any other questions? Oops. sorry, non-food related questions for Mr. Shuttle? Anybody? Or Alan, was yours food related? All right, go ahead. Is your mic on?
Yeah, I did it. Okay. Leftover food was donated to a food bank, and dollars on the students' cards were also donated, any leftover money. So maybe that's a possibility that those with surplus balances might.
They get to keep their money for, unless obviously if they're seniors, but I think they're really careful in making sure. I mean, I don't really know. We'd have to ask Sandra. I'm not 100% sure if people are pretty good about making sure they don't have any money left, and the kids will probably spend it down and buy 20 bags of chips and share it with their friends. But you could carry it into the following year.
They can request refunds.
Oh, can they? Yeah.
Yes,
So I
if
didn't
there's
know
a
that.
balance, they can ask us for a refund.
All right, any other questions about the budget? Sure, Kelly.
So, for the people, we can't refuse the lunch to the children, but they're not adding like extra things, right?
No snacks. They're not.
Okay.
So you're not allowed to buy snacks.
That's what I
And
was
no,
making sure
no.
they're not
You
racking it
get
up.
no,
I mean,
no,
I
no,
know.
no. Just your meal. There's a healthy, balanced meal. Yeah.
And now that there's ice cream being sold, it might help with collecting. Oh, I know. All right, so are we all set with Mr. Shuttle? Thank you so much. All right, under new business, item A, did we do this already? No, the CABE Student Leadership Award recipients. Who will be introducing that? All right, come on up. We have Principal Cochiola.
Good evening, everyone. Always an absolutely one of my favorite evenings is to introduce our CABE student leaders. May I please have Kennedy Marchese and Rory Monahan please come up to the front. So again, to give you a little background why this award is so impressive, the entire eighth grade group, two teams, have to choose a student who exhibits leadership skills based upon some pretty impressive criteria, such as willingness to take on challenges, capability to make difficult decisions, concern for others, ability to work for others, willingness to commit to a project, diplomacy, ability to understand issues clearly, and ability to honor a commitment. And I'm very honored to give the first award goes to Kennedy Marchese. And come here, Kennedy. And what her teachers say about her is that she's an intelligent, capable, hardworking student. Her work is consistently completed with integrity and meticulous attention to detail. Her vocabulary and sentence structure, that must have been her English teacher, allow her to communicate her ideas clearly. Despite her athletic and social obligations, Kennedy honors her commitments by arriving to class each day with completed assignments and a focus on learning that's well beyond her years. And it is yet her leadership abilities during group projects that sets Kennedy apart from even her most capable peers. Kennedy's honest concern for the emotional well-being of her peers allow her the capability to work with any and all of the students in her classes. In fact, Kennedy's presence in a group allows more students to work with one another as she diplomatically settles disputes and calls on other students to rise up and produce their best work. Kennedy's willingness to lead her peers in tackling challenging assignments makes her the obvious choice to receive the 2024 CABE Student Leadership Award for Cromwell Middle School. So I applaud you. Congratulations. And next I have Rory Monahan. Congratulations. And again, her teachers have said, each day Rory comes to Cromwell Middle School, she models and exemplifies each of the CABE leadership skills. She never shies away from a challenge and will often take a chance to lead. Whether she's learning a brand new concept, struggling with an existing one, or simply helping her peers stay on task during group work, she steadfastly pushes on in her pursuit of her goals. Because of her innate sense of caring and her natural diplomacy skills, Rory is able to work and collaborate with all of her peers, regardless of the myriad personalities, mindsets, and cultures. Day in and day out, Rory's growth mindset and her pursuit of excellence in not only academics, but also in sports, easily qualifies her as a deserving recipient for the prestigious CABE Award. So congratulations, Rory. And thank you. As the very proud principal, I will turn this over to Mr. Kuckel.
All right, good evening. I'd like to have Alexia Sella and Aubrey Zimmerman, the 2 CABE Award recipients for Cromwell High School, come to the podium. Okay, Aubrey, you're next to me, so I'll go you first. All right. So, Aubrey Zimmerman is one of our most active and involved student leaders. On a side note, I first met Aubrey early on in her high school career when we attended, I'm not sure if you remember, it was the Dismantling Systemic Racism Conference, and it was virtual at the time. And, you know, we were behind masks in the 800 conference room, but I could see it then. I could see it in her eyes that she had this passion, she had this fire. And she wanted to make change, right? She wanted to be a difference maker here at Cromwell High School. And her time there after that proved everything that I saw in that room in that moment of time. She currently serves as the president of the class of 2024, as well as executive board vice president, both of which are associated with our student council. She organizes such events as multi-day senior class trip, big part of that with Washington, D.C. and New York City, and the junior prom. She is a secretary and historian of our chapter of the French National Honor Society, where she organizes fundraisers and helps to educate and inform on French culture. Aubrey's leadership participation in the performing arts is also substantial. She is the choreographer in our drama club, planning choreography for this past spring musical, and she also participated in choreography planning for last year's musical as well. Aubrey is the lead drummer of our jazz band, our elite jazz band, where she performs in statewide competitions and at concerts and parades. And she is also the captain of our competitive dance team. A few summers ago, she did receive the Cromwell Children's Coalition Rising Star Award for her work as we attempted our Courageous Conversations initiative at Cromwell High School. And though things don't always turn out the way you want them to, the reality is Aubrey is a dedicated individual who will no doubt do exceptional things at the next level, and we are very proud to award Aubrey the CABE Student Leadership Award. All right, Alexia, you're up. Alexia is an exceptional student. She is ambitious, driven, and hardworking, and she's a leader in the classroom. Outside of the classroom, Alexia has a myriad of interests. She is currently the Student Council Executive Board President and serves as Vice President for her class. Alexia is deeply involved in the planning of the Student Council events such as prom and homecoming committee, which raised money for charitable causes. She has always been concerned about the inclusivity of every student. Her leadership skills have also been evidenced by her being appointed to the position of DECA President. Alexia also finds times for athletics, earning a top spot on the tennis team. Her teammates appreciate her work ethic and sportsmanship. She is a natural leader who will do anything in her power to help someone in need. Alexia is also committed to performing several hours of volunteer work. She has volunteered at Cromwell River Cleanup, Trick or Trunk, Halloween celebration, and reading to our children at the elementary schools. She is always willing to lend a hand when volunteers are needed. Her positive energy and outgoing personality allows Alexia to be surrounded by a number of close friends. And again, Alexia's ability for me was on display this year as student council president for our open house that we had for incoming students, ninth grade or rising ninth grade students. And we had to have her come in, and we wanted her to speak to students that were potentially looking at Cromwell High School. And Alexia, in that moment, you know, I was watching in the background, and she was able to step in and speak with such conviction and demonstrate her leadership skills in that moment of time to illustrate to everybody in that room why it's so important and why Cromwell High School is an exceptional place to be. And it's a great place to send your students. And again, it was in that small moment, right, that I saw the ability and the talent that Alexia has, who again, no doubt, will do amazing things at the next level. So congratulations, Alexia Sella, on the CABE Student Leadership Award.
Congratulations to all of our CABE recipients. I'm in awe of your resumes and everything that you have all accomplished. At the middle school, your teachers had such nice sentiments about everything you're doing in class, and I love hearing it. It's nice to also see a face behind the class of 2024 announcements. She's very busy. So congratulations to everyone tonight. You wanted to
Just quickly, congratulations to Alexia, Aubrey, Kennedy, and Rory. I've been seeing this award being given out for the past 20 years. And to the parents and grandparents and family, I cannot tell you how prestigious this award is in the state of Connecticut, because it really talks about their person, who they are, what they embody. And that is all those exceptional things that we want to see in our students, but they're good people and they care about everybody else. I learned so much about this award. I will tell you, I don't have my own children, but you all know I love my nieces and nephews. My nephew got it about 20 years ago, and I wanted to know more about it. And I cried when I heard why he received that award. So to the parents of these amazing children, which are not really children anymore, young adults, you should be incredibly proud, and we are so very proud. So congratulations to all of you. It's a true honor.
This has been a great meeting so far with all these
know.
celebrations.
Let's
This
just
is
stop
awesome. All right, from there we'll move on to, do you have an SRO update, or did you want to table that?
I have a quick SRO update. We will get our second SRO back on Monday, the 20th. A huge thank you to Denise LaMontagne. She has been an awesome fill-in. She says every day that she wishes she was able to spend more time at schools, because she cannot believe how hard we work and what we do every day. She would have never thought it. She has enjoyed her time here. We will always call on her if we need her and she's available. She's just an awesome person, and I'm not saying goodbye. I'm just saying, okay, I'll call you when I need you. Kind of thing. Officer Mitch will be coming back, and we also did have interviews last week for our SRO for next year, and we did select. There were 2 excellent candidates. It was truly more about experience with students that we selected one candidate to bring forward to the chief. And I am not sure if he has made that announcement yet, so I don't want to make the announcement if he hasn't yet. But excellent, excellent candidates. It was a pleasure to sit on the committee. I also have 4 pages that I'm going to send to you, because I'm not going to read all of it. But I asked Officer Pete, because they do so much in our schools, and it's not just about protecting us from intruders. It's about teaching our students and our staff and being there for everyone. And I said, can you really give us an idea of what do you do? And so I could really share this with everyone and really share it with the community and the impact that they have on our kids and our students. So he gave me 4 pages. So I'm going to send it to you, and we're going to put it in the minutes. And it's just amazing. So I am so grateful to our police department. They're excellent. They're always there for us. So Officer Pete is amazing, and I know our next SRO that will be working with him is going to be amazing as well. So very grateful, and I'll put this in the minutes.
Thank you so much for gathering that, and please extend our thanks for doing that, because as you've probably noticed throughout the school year, they do so much more than you realize, because it's staggered. We don't see it all the time, but I did notice that there was a lot. There's so much that they do that it goes unrecognized. And please extend our thankfulness to, I'll always call her Chief LaMontagne, but to Denise LaMontagne for stepping up in our time of need and for covering us while we were without an SRO. So we appreciate all of them. So thank you. All right. Any comments from board members? No. Move on to action item D, approval of out-of-state field trips, reference B in your packets. So we have 4 field trips up for approval. Any comments or questions from board members on any of these? We have, and these are out of state, of course. We only approve the out of state. We have the Big E in September, a Philadelphia trip next March. And then we have a trip for in Anaheim, California, April 9th. And then a New York trip that's to be determined. Alicia.
I just think it's a wonderful thing that we're doing for our kids to get them to be able to travel as far as they're traveling, and a huge thank you to, I think I've said this before, but to the teachers who take the responsibility of traveling with our students across the country in some cases. It's a lot on them, and just it's greatly appreciated, and I know those are memories those kids will have forever.
Thank you. Matt.
Can I assume that Anaheim involves Disneyland?
We can have Mr. Kuckle come up and answer those questions.
It's just a yes or no.
I'm assuming
well,
yes.
If it's a yes, the follow-up is, do you need chaperones?
Oh, jeez. And I do not want to come.
So, on a side note, and I think maybe a more serious one, the approximate cost per student is $2,000. I assume that there's fundraisers and families probably contribute.
Yeah, so right now the number of students that would go is low because we'd be sending our select choir and jazz band to those competitions. And the goal would be to try to figure out what type of fundraising opportunities could occur to substantially lower those costs. Because that is expensive, especially when you look at the rest of the field trip list. It's predominantly music trips, so it's a pretty heavy burden on families on that front. And this one is you know, even with your approval, is still very tentative. It's just a matter of we needed this approval in advance, you know, because for this one, they're looking at a competition, a clinic, and then a possible another clinic at a university nearby. So that's still all kind of coming together as a pie in the sky, you know, very hopeful for their end.
Is this during April break, April 9th through
It goes
12th?
into it, yeah. So it's like we take a little of their time, they take a little of our time. So it would be like the last 2 days, essentially, or 3 days heading into April break, but then it would go into April break. So then they would come back. They'd be in the midst of April break when they return. They have plenty of time to deal with the jet lag and the, you know, the misery
It's a
that
long
that will
flight
be.
for just a few days, so
Yeah,
they'll be
it is, yeah.
recovering.
Big time.
I just want to mention I did have a parent reach out to me about this one in particular. So is it imperative that we approve it tonight so that they can start planning, or can we hold off on just this one piece?
You probably could hold off on it.
If the board decides that.
Yeah.
I don't personally have anyone going on the trip, so I'm not
Yep.
sure. Percentage-wise, of the students invited, do most of them sound like they're thinking of coming?
I'd imagine, but at the same time, it's still so soon
Soon.
in the yeah. It's one of those where you know, we would do the parent meeting and find out, you know, really what we'd be dealing with on that, because with the jazz band, it's like choir. There's such small groups that if you had half the group that couldn't go, there's no purpose in going, right?
Okay.
Then you don't have a group to
But
actually
you need
perform.
our approval to even
even go to
broach
that
it
point. Yeah,
with- okay.
yeah.
All right, any other questions? Alicia, go ahead.
Do they have to qualify? Is this one of those
I-
one of those trips where they have to qualify to even be considered for the?
Good question. My understanding is no, but I can double check that for you. Sure.
All right, so is there anyone that would like to make a motion, or does anyone want to hold off on any one of these and bring it back? How do we feel? Okay. Kelly, second by, was that you, Lori, or Alan? Sorry. Okay, so first by Kelly, second by Lori. All in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. And they are approved. Thank you.
Thank you.
And action item E, approval of the Healthy Food Certification Lunch Program, reference C in your packets. Any questions on that? We do this every year. It's required. Would anyone like to make a motion? Who said that? Sorry. Oh, Alicia made the motion, second by Kelly Cloutier. All in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. And it is approved. Action item F, approval of the minutes and motions from the April 16th regular meeting, reference D. Is there a motion to approve these minutes? Alan, is there a second? Matt, all in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? Alicia, yep. Okay, minutes are approved. And then action, approval of minutes and motions from our April 30th special meeting, reference E in our packet. Is there a motion to approve those? Motion by Kelly Cloutier, second by Lori. All in favor? Opposed? And Ms. Russ isn't here, so that's okay. Motion carries. Special meeting minutes are approved. And we'll move on to the stipend approval, reference F in your packet. Do we want any explanation with this, or is this pretty standard?
No, yes, every year we post, we post the stipends, I shouldn't say we. Mr. Morrow stipends, the one-man show, woman show in HR posts all the stipends and people start to apply. So this is what we have so far. And she continuously does this until all positions are filled and some linger into the beginning of the school year. Yeah, sure. Oh, sorry. I'm not the boss.
Sorry. How are the rates determined for the stipends? Some are higher than others. How does that?
That's a great idea and question, because we just finished that, so I can have Mr. Morrow explain how we went through it all when we negotiated the teachers' contracts.
Hi, yes, it's actually all contractual, and we actually, when we negotiated the teacher's contract, we put a committee together made up of teachers, administration, and then from there we came up with dollar amounts for increases. There was stipends already in there in the previous contract. We just had to bring it more in line to where they would fit, and lots of times it's done by hours, and depending on the sport, we look at what's out there for stipends.
And any that are unfilled wouldn't necessarily be on this list. We could still have some that are unfilled. They're just not here, right? Okay.
It takes
It's
to
ongoing.
be honest with you, it's going to be all summer.
Yep.
That I post on, off, all summer, and they trickle in. And so probably the next meeting you'll see more come in, because tomorrow I'll post the second posting for open stipends, and then we'll get a bunch of applications in again, and then I'll present it again in June, and that will happen pretty much for a couple months.
All right. Any other questions for Mr. Morrow?
No, I like to make it colorful.
No. Anything else? All right. Is there a motion to approve the stipends then?
Motion.
By Kelly, second by Alan. All in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. The stipends are approved. Thank you, Michelle. And if you want to stay there for a second, just in case, because we're moving on to informational, human resources, personnel activity, reference G. Any questions there? None? All right. You're off the hook. Informational principal reports. Any questions on those? None? Okay. And we'll move on to our policies. We have for second read policies A through J. So those we would need to approve tonight. Are there any questions on any of those? Or if you want to go through them individually, let me know. Otherwise, is there a motion to approve A through J? And thank you for everyone on policy. Those are a lot of policies. Thank you, Lori. Is there a second? By Kelly, all in favor? Opposed, abstentions, motion carries. Policies are approved. And then we have some on for first read, which we will look at second read at our next meeting, hopefully. But are there any questions that come up right away? All
I
right.
just had one on the student dress code.
Sure. Which one is that? F?
Yeah, I guess the biggest thing is it references the student handbooks.
Mhm.
Where do we find a copy of those? Just to
So the student handbooks are online under the schools, but we are working on revising, and then on June 1st, we will send them to Shipman and Goodwin, because we have to make sure with all this updated policy that we're on the same page and that we're very vertical alignment is what I should say. So you could find this year's, but there'll be some changes. There'll probably be quite a few changes for next year.
Okay.
But go under the school, and then the handbooks are all there.
Gotcha, thank you.
And then I did talk to Dr. Macri about this, but I think once they're completed, they'll come to us because we don't usually see
No,
them,
we took
right?
that out.
You took that out?
It was advised that we do because the attorney should look at it to make sure it matches our policy.
But then
So-
after that, do we see it?
Oh yeah, you could see it, yeah, absolutely, but just you don't vote on it, no, because it's all aligned with statutory and procedural. That's what we're trying to make sure we do. Well, dress code is, we could talk about that until midnight, and we all know, let's not do it.
We almost did.
That and uniforms. It's a tough one.
All right, sorry, we're trying to coordinate our mics here. They don't like each other very much tonight.
we're too close.
Is that why? Oh, I can move over. All right, so we will move on to board committee reports. Sorry. What? Their first read, so we don't have to, they'll just move to second read at our next meeting. Board committee reports, do you have anything to report, Lori?
No, we didn't meet tonight.
Okay. And Kelly, do you want? Basically.
Yeah.
Yep, okay. And I don't have a future date for our next one, but is it June? Facilities?
Oh, no, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay, we can look it up after.
The next policy is the next.
At the next meeting, June 4th, okay. Topics for future agendas and possible action to approve additional topics. I just want to mention, I didn't forget about you, Steve, with the board evaluation. He did send me something from CABE, and I'll get it to you all, circulate it to you all. I didn't think we could do it at this meeting or the next one, but at some point coming up, we will definitely look at that. Anything else?
I'd like to, add the discussion of student cell phone usage during the school day.
Outside of policy, just as a general
General.
discussion item? All right, who else is interested in that discussion? Matt, okay? Anyone else? All right, did I say yes? See a yes? Okay. All right, we'll talk about that and see when we can get that on an upcoming agenda.
Well, we have a policy.
We do have a policy, so it might
Do you wanna
not be any actionable.
just to clarify, are you looking to, you want to review the current policy? To-
From basically this discussion with EES and others, it seems as though that some of the schools are doing away, basically access to students having their phones during the school day. And there appears to be some benefit to that.
Should we start with an offline conversation between yourself and Alan, and then go from there? Because if there's policies that we would then have to change.
We would definitely have to change policies, and we talked about it a little bit yesterday. I said to him, why don't you just put school uniforms on the agenda too? It's oh, thanks, this is real small. I definitely think it's worth a conversation. It's a belief system, but then it's also the reality of what's happening out there. And I won't disagree with you, because I truly do believe that they are a large distraction in school. But I also believe that we have a lot of families who would feel very, very, very uncomfortable with their children not having a cell phone in school because of emergencies. And I don't necessarily agree with that, because I believe it makes it worse, right? More chaotic if there's an emergency and everyone's hearing different things from their students. I hear many untruths about what's happening. Like yesterday, the whole building was on fire, and it wasn't. It was, isolated. But we do have a lot of families who are going to have a very difficult time, and our students will definitely probably start a petition, and they will most likely not like this. So as long as you're ready for it, I'm ready for it. I agree, and I believe all my administrators think it's a huge distraction. We've made some huge inroads at the middle school and at the high school. Actually, the middle school has been doing it forever, and the high school is a little bit harder, but a lot of progress as far as when students can use their phones and when they have them available to them. But is it perfect? No. So I agree with you. I just don't know if everybody agrees with us. Yeah, so when that's on the agenda, the line's going to be down the street and around the corner. Don't make any plans for the evening. It's absolutely fine with me. I don't shy away from difficult conversations. Oh, yeah, sweetie.
So we'll talk about the timing of when we want to open up that can of worms.
2029.
But in the meantime, could we maybe gather, it could be an informational topic, obviously, just discussion, and maybe if we have any information we can gather from other districts. I only know of one personally, I think it's Manchester, that had tried it.
Torrington.
Okay.
And actually, we talked about it today at Igniting Change, where one of the presenters was very, very well established, and she said, we need to get over it, pretty much. Like, we need to get over it, especially get over the fact that we're so stuck on the fact that they're such a distraction. And she brought in an equity concern, and I feel that it's every parent's concern, but she brought something in that made me think a little bit more, right? So we have students that come to us through the Open Choice program. So they're getting on buses at 5:30 in the dark in the morning. They're 40 minutes away from home. Their bus rides are long. It's not as quick for them to be able to access the schools. It was just a point that I hadn't necessarily thought about enough. I thought about it, I just hadn't thought about it enough. And the whole safety component of, can that one student who has their phone possibly be able to contact the police quicker if there was an emergency? But that's the one reason, right? There's a million reasons why we shouldn't, but life and safety is the most important. So that's why she brought it up today, and I said, oh, gee, that was interesting because we just talked about it yesterday. So it made me think a little more deeply. I still hate them.
Well, and it doesn't
They cause a lot of
necessarily mean
problem.
that you have to keep it from coming into school, but there are other things you could do instead, like locking it up, like at a concert. Now, apparently it's perfectly fine to do it at a concert, but not at school, where they put them in those locking bags and everything. So live in the moment, right? So we'll talk more about it, I think. Okay. And comments, updates, and announcements from board members. I'll start with the side, Steve. Nothing? Okay.
Just last week, there was a jazz concert at Cromwell High School. It was Cromwell Jazz Fest, they called it. And it was so cool because they started out with the younger kids, the middle school kids that were kind of just learning an instrument or maybe just in their infancy stage of learning an instrument, to the very advanced levels of jazz players at the high school, to a professional group that Mr. Schmidt had brought in that he's part of. So it was really neat to see that progression of what kids could do if they stuck with an instrument. My disappointment was the room wasn't packed, so I wish we could figure out, same thing with even voting for our budget, how can we better communicate some of the great things that are happening so that we can fill our room, because it was a fantastic concert.
Yeah, thanks for sharing. Kelly, anything? Last week was staff appreciation, so I just wanted to make sure that staff knows that we value all of you. We're so thankful for you all, and I know the PTO has hopefully treated all of you to lunches and whatever awesome things they do for everyone. So thank you very much. I want to thank Lori for being on the Teacher of the Year committee, and also congratulate all of our Teachers of the Year, and then also Mrs. Mataskavich, who is the District Teacher of the Year. And also for everyone serving on the negotiations, the union negotiations, because that's time consuming. So thank you all for that. And that's all. Lori.
Yeah, excuse me, the Teacher of the Year committee, I think, and I was saying at the meeting, this was the hardest. I had such a hard time. Like, we all really struggled this year. It's hard every year, but this year was unusually hard. So I know that we have to pick one winner, but all four were outstanding. So congratulations to all of them.
Thank you. Kelly. Alan. Matt.
Just one, but it's actually not my idea. It was Julie's idea. And she mentioned it to me after the discussion had ended, and she wasn't sure how to bring it back forward. She had a suggestion for the overdue balances on for school lunches, for school meals, and she goes, I would have no idea if I owed money, and I wouldn't be able to hound my parents about it. She goes, maybe if they included at the schools in the morning announcements or whatever, just a reminder that you should check balances, that there's, a number of overdue balances, that might get some kids to go home and say to their families, hey, can you check our balances? Because
I'm pretty sure the cafeteria workers tell them right then and there, though, right?
Do they?
She probably just doesn't have an overdue one.
maybe, I don't know. I thought it was a good idea, though. Why not, put it
Yeah.
out there in the announcements. But
Yeah.
I mean, she's like, can we just say the names? And I was like, you can't say the names. No, you can't. That part you can't do.
Shame everyone.
But it was such a great idea.
Yep. Thanks for sharing that.
Like when we were little, right?
All right, so from here we have an executive session. So is there a motion to go into an executive session with the invite of Dr. Macri and Michelle DeMoro for the purpose of discussion of the evaluation of our superintendent's evaluation and also her contract with a possible action to approve her contract? Is there a motion for all of that? Matt? A second? All right, Alicia, all in favor? Opposed, abstentions, motion carries, and we are in executive session at 8:22.